Hey everyone, this is Mike and today we're back with Monster Hunter World Iceborne. It's been a little while since I made a video on this game. It's also been a little while since I've played the game myself because, as I've said in a few videos before, for me to stay interested and excited about the game, I sometimes like to take some breaks so that I don't get burned out. And then when there's some new content to enjoy, then I will be back with even more energy. And earlier this week, or I think maybe late last week, something like that, a week ago I think, Safi'jiiva finally got added to the PC version of the game, which is Iceborne's Siege. So basically, if you've played base game, this is basically their version of Kulf Tarot, which I have to say though, Safi'jiiva is a much more fun experience than Kulf Tarot because there's not as much RNG involved in getting all of the weapons and that kind of stuff. Now, if you don't know how Safi'jiiva works, if you've never done a Siege quest before, basically you want to try and find a very active online session where there's a bunch of people trying to do the siege, because you need multiple teams in order to get as many points as possible, and then of course once you reach the points necessary, the siege completes and you can get your rewards. Now, as for the siege itself, you go in as a party of 4, you fight him on the first level, he jumps away, fight him on the second level, he jumps away again, and then you fight him on the last level where you then kill the monster, and then once you've done that you can carve his body for armor pieces, or well, for materials that you can then use to make armor pieces. And then once the whole siege is completed, so meaning that multiple teams have accumulated enough points, because of course you don't necessarily need to kill the monster, you just need to get points towards killing him. Of course, if you do kill him you get more points, and more points means better rewards, so you do want to try and kill the monster at least. But basically, if you end up dying somewhere along the way, you can just re-queue again, go back in, and then the first 2 levels will go a lot faster because the HP of the monster will be lower. So basically, just go in, you kill the monster, you get points, and then when everybody's done with their hunt, basically, you go back to the gathering hub. You collect your rewards there, and then there's basically 2 reward tabs. You have the first one, which is upgrade materials, which is going to be very important to making your weapon stronger, and then on the second tab, you basically have a list of a bunch of random weapons. Of course, depending on which weapon type you're going for, there are going to be a few weapons that are going to be really good, there are going to be some good ones, some great ones, some not so good ones, and then some bad ones as well. But basically, just look at what weapons are good for your weapon type that you're going for, and then grab those weapons when they show up. Of course, there is some RNG involved, like for example, I've been trying to get a good switch axe. I got a decent one yesterday with the hunt that you're seeing in the background, but I didn't really get the best one. I'm also still trying to get that blast bow because I really wanted to try something with that as well. But I haven't been able to get those yet, but on the other hand, it's not too bad because you're gonna need to grind this monster quite a bit if you do want to upgrade your weapons sufficiently enough as well. Because of course, when you get the weapons right from the siege, they're not good yet. You need to augment them, you need to awaken them in order for them to actually become good. So once you got your weapon that you want, you go to the smithy, upgrade equipment, and then you just awaken your weapon up to a certain point where it has enough stuff and stats on it that you're happy with it. Like for example, most of the weapons, when it comes down to like the melee weapons, I think they only have white sharpness, and then you can put some sharpness increases on there so that they can go into the purple. You can get their raw up, you can get their element up, more affinity, that kind of stuff. So basically all of the weapons are really good, or at least most of them are really good when it comes down to comparing to what we already have in World or in Iceborne. But they do need some awakening in order to get up to that point. So for example, I got a bow, you can also see me use it here in the gameplay. The bow itself wasn't that great when it dropped, but of course I put some affinity on it, I put a bunch of element on it, and now it's basically a higher raw bow with still a lot of energy element on it, meaning that it was a little bit better than the one that I had previously. So basically, some good weapons for you to go and get. Really cool upgrade system as well, and they do change the look of the weapons as well once you get to a certain point on the upgrade tree, so they all look really cool as well. So that's part 1 of the update. Safi'jiiva is finally here. We can finally get our hands on some of these meta weapons that people on console have had for quite some time now. Now, on the other hand, we also got an update to the layered armor system. A couple, I think with the Rajang update it was, where they introduced layered armor. Well, not introduced it, but basically we got a bunch more layered armor than we already had available in the game from a couple of low rank and high rank sets. But with this update, pretty much any low rank and high rank armor set is available for you to grind now. Now, of course, they don't only need low rank stuff, because for example, when I was looking at the Nergigante set, which I do quite enjoy, I think it requires Ruiner Nergigante talents. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think they come from there. So basically there are still some high rank or like some master rank materials that you might need for these sets. But for me, it is a really good way to get back into maybe some of the older monsters or hunt some monsters that I might not necessarily be interested in, because I'm not after their armor for the stats, but I now am after their armor for the looks. So upgrading or getting more layered armor available to us is always good, because I was never really happy with how much there was available. It was basically like only a few sets here or there, and yeah, they looked alright. But once you look at them for like half a year, yeah, then it starts to get a little bit boring. So it's really good that we get some more layered armor right there. I'm using the Odogaron set in the bow gameplay that you could see as well. Really quite enjoying that one. And then last but not least, of course, we have the roadmap that is almost catching up with console. And I think it's going to be a really exciting time, because when it comes down to the PC version of this game, we've always been lagging behind the console for like a few months to half a year, something like that. I think Iceborne came out 6 months after the console version came out, and then of course with Safi'jiiva, another big release, we were behind for quite some time. Console just got Raging Brachydios and Furious Rajang, if I'm not mistaken, so we're going to be getting that in, I believe, 3 weeks or something like that. And then basically early this summer they're gonna try and sync up the two releases so that PC will finally be on par with console, so that we can all enjoy the new updates of the game at the same time. So definitely a really good time to be playing the game again, because of course it's finally gonna sync up. We're gonna get all those new cool monsters. They also released a trailer for Alatrion, I believe it's called, which is gonna be one of the new monsters that they're gonna add into World. Of course it is an old Monster Hunter monster, but it's gonna be a new monster for World. Wow, almost gonna get out of my words there, but basically those are some of the things that we can look forward to. Of course, as a PC player, looking forward to getting my hands on some of that Raging Brachydios and Furious Rajang armor. Weapons maybe not as much, because of course we finally have Safi'jiiva, so I'm gonna be trying to get some weapons from there. But I did see that some of the armor from, for example, Raging Brachydios would be really good for Charge Blade or something like that, because it does have that very high artillery, and I believe something else as well. So definitely looking forward to getting my hands on those monsters, and then seeing what the new monster Alatrion has to bring as well later this year. So that's gonna be it for me. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.